And welcome to Ask the Dating Coach. I'm your host, Adam Lyons, and I am joined by my co-host.
Hi, I am Eve Lyons. I am the wife of this beautiful Adam Lyons.
Excellent. And we have two incredible hosts with us today, guest hosts. We are joined, obviously, by the wonderful
Lloyd Dixon from The Single Guy, partners with Adam Lyons, and happy to be here.
And lastly, the very special guest, the original pickup artist, one of the first dating coaches ever to exist in America, Mr. Vince Kelvin.
Wow. Yeah.
Dude, it's such an honor to have you here today, bro. Like, it's so cool. So, for those of you guys that don't know, we could argue that the grandfather of pickup artistry, dating, seduction, or the original system was speed seduction. And you were one of the first people that did speed seduction, like back in the day, right?
Back in the days, yeah.
Yeah. When was this roughly, like in terms of decades?
I think that was even before the millennium. We're talking 97, 98.
Wow, you're that
97.
old?
Wow.
Damn.
Well,
You look great, you know?
Yeah.
Show me your skin routine.
So what I love about Vince, and I've been saying this for ages, there's a lot of people on the internet arguing like, who's good at dating? Like, who's the best dating coach? Who's great? And nowadays, 2023, everyone's saying it's about social status, money, good looks. Vince knows we've been through this cycle, right? That was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, it was about money, good looks, social status.
Interesting. Full circle, huh?
Yeah, previous to that, everyone knew it was more about how you say things, the way you come across. When we go into past 2003, 2004, 2007, people knew it wasn't about money, status, good looks. It was about how you say things. So we go in these cycles. And so we're in the new cycle of everyone believes it's all about this. What I love about you, Vince, and there is no insult here, but you are not the stereotypical, beach boy, muscular, ab-wearing... Yeah, right? Yeah, you're not. You don't have that look. And then other people will say it's about age, and you are definitely over like 28, right? Like you're older than that. And so you stand against everything that everyone believes is what's needed now.
That's kind of been my thing throughout the years, Like, as a shorter man, I dated women who were super, super tall. I wanted to defy the odds and... undo all false notions and stereotypes.
Yeah, which I love. And for those of you guys that don't know, like I have literally witnessed this man, and you can too. You can go on YouTube, you can watch him. He makes out with women 20 years younger than you that are gorgeous, that you meet on the street within how long of meeting them?
It happens super fast. It can happen super fast.
And it's just incredible because I don't care what you think in life. You just have to watch this guy in and how many videos do you have of you doing makeouts? Like, honestly.
Makeouts, I count about 5,000.
Whoa!
Yeah.
5,000
Yeah.
videos?
5,000
documented, I'm still counting. We're still digging new ones all the time. I don't think that it's 5,000, but it's so significant, it's ridiculous.
Is it over 10?
I feel like embarrassed sometimes. I
No,
amuse myself
that's
to
cool.
look back,
Yeah.
all those makeouts and the
I love
quantity of saliva
Wow.
exchange.
Sexy. Moisty.
You can start a new calling.
Can you make sure you speak a bit closer to the mic, please? See that second.
Oh, yeah, we'll get you in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just gotta-
Perfect.
yeah.
See, despite all the kissing, I'm too far from the mic.
Exactly. Can
Yeah.
you describe again
Kiss
what
the
those kisses contained?
Wow, I'm going to describe it differently other than the saliva. My favorite part of kissing is the anticipation. It's when you still don't know if it's going to happen or not. And sometimes it's even greater than a kiss. Non-kissing or like, no, will it happen or not? I always said seduction, real seduction, the essence of it is very feminine. And it's a pending option. Will it be? It might not be. That's the best part of it. Once it is, once it has been,
You heard it here. It's Schrodinger's makeout from Vince
No,
Kelvin.
right?
That's 100% what this is. We are going to have a very interesting topic today, guys. And for everybody who is watching at home, this is huge. The topic is Jada Smith, which is Will Smith's wife, supposedly.
All she's famous for.
Well, no, she was an actress in her own right, obviously. She was also an actress. But for this specific subject, we know this is important. She just came out and said that as far as she's concerned, her and her husband, Will Smith, have been separated for 6 years.
Was that during the entanglement thing that she was talking about?
Well, apparently so, but this is where this gets interesting. That means when he said to Chris Rock, "Get my wife's name out your damn mouth," and then he hit Chris at the Oscars, which caused him to retroactively lose his Academy Award and be banned from the Academy, he was defending his wife as far as he was concerned. But she didn't perceive them being married during that moment.
Yeah, so it sounds like he was trying to like win her back or something, or he maybe felt like they weren't together, so he was trying to overcompensate, right?
Now, do you remember the exact scenario of what happened, like play by play? Because I watched it and I've analyzed it over and over.
Yeah. I did a breakdown, I think, on my Instagram, but I think you did one too. That was a bit better.
Yeah, so for me, here was the steps. Chris made a joke about her condition, which causes her to lose hair.
Yeah, like alopecia. Yeah.
Right. And Will laughed. Then Will looks at her. She gives him a look like this isn't funny. Will reacts, visibly getting angry, and then starts getting aggressive with Chris Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, Will's initial reaction was not to defend her. His reaction to her facial expression was, I'm going to step in and do something because I'm being made to feel that I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
So the question here is, how do we feel about the fact that this woman is now saying, oh yeah, we weren't even together then?
I mean, she could be lying too, you know? Like if someone says that they're like, maybe she's just justifying her behavior after the fact. Like maybe she didn't act very good, and now she's just saying that they're separated because like, hey, well, you know, if I was doing all of this other stuff, then it's okay. But I know they've openly admitted that they've been in an open thing for pretty much since they've been married, I think. So I don't know why she feels the need to say that they're separated, if that was also the case. I don't know.
I've got a theory on why she feels the need to say it, which I'm going to say in a minute. But I want to see, what do you guys think about this?
I think she's grabbing for attention. I think, job is slow, right? There is not much acting. I haven't seen anything from her, basically, right? So it's like, hey, bad PR is still PR, right? So, in my opinion, right? Because again, even if that's true, right? Who cares? 7 years, 6 years, separated. Why drag it through the press? Especially it's been happening for so many years, basically,
Yeah, absolutely. Vince, what do you think?
Well, we're all very adorable because we're still not that far from having been little kids. So I think this an element that's probably very childish, like I got hurt and now I want to hurt you.
Yeah.
That's typical, right?
Yeah.
That's typical. I mean, speaking to you as somebody who's married 5 times, they tend to... I do the same sometimes. Like, we feel hurt and we go like, I hate you in any way you mean. So we were not even together. So I may be off with that, but I perceive it as a very, like, non-mature response.
A cry
Right,
for attention?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You're definitely the most qualified person to talk about it. So many marriages under your belt,
So many marriages, plenty of
divorces,
children,
so
plenty of
yeah.
make-outs. I love that. He never said he got divorced. just keeping to the fact.
I mean, true. God knows.
So here's my belief. I actually agree with you. I think she's not really doing much in the media in terms of like her career, but anytime she talks about their relationship in a controversial way, she gets in the media. She gets in the news. Like, we just saw a moment, like, if you ever follow Logan Paul, I think Logan Paul is amazing from his marketing skills, which I'm really impressed with. He will often do a publicity stunt and then afterwards explain how it was pre-scripted, how he planned it out, and he knows he gets eyeballs. So he's about to go into a new fight against a bare-knuckle boxer. And during the interview, this also happened today, or in the last 24 hours, he threw his water bottle at the guy's stomach. The guy reacted by throwing his microphone at Logan Paul's head, cutting him open, blood going everywhere. And Logan Paul, the question is like, is he going to fight now? And he says he's still going to fight. But the point is, that did exactly what Logan Paul wanted it to do. Everyone is now talking about, will he fight, won't he fight? Which means there will be more eyeballs on the fight. Like, I didn't know about the fight until he did that publicity stunt. So Logan Paul is the king of publicity stunts as far as I'm concerned. Likewise, I think Jada Smith has learned that she can make herself very relevant in the media by basically destroying Will Smith's reputation. And I think that's really what's going on. I think she's preying on his career and destroying his reputation to keep herself relevant because she had a career as an actress. She was trying to make herself relevant.
Yeah.
But you don't hear anything about her career, but you do hear about her
Right.
putting Will Smith through hell.
How does she make money off that though?
Well, okay, so there's a lot of different components here. First of all, I never said she made money from it.
Okay, it's just
It
for
keeps
attention?
her relevant.
Okay.
But also, and I know this, every time we appear in the media, you get phone calls. Producers call you up, hey, do you want a TV show? Every single time. Like every time we have ever ended up in the news, within 24 hours, the phone starts ringing. TV people, hey, we want to interview you. Hey, we want to do this. Hey, we want to do that. And that leads to potential TV deals. If you've worked in the film industry and no one's calling, which is one of the worst things, you're irrelevant, no one phones you, you do some kind of publicity stunt, you get yourself in the news, the phone starts ringing again.
Right. Interesting. So you think she's doing it for attention purposes, and she's hoping a deal will come out of it?
I am 100% convinced. Like, why else would you air your dirty laundry publicly? Like, who needs to know that they were separated for 6 years? Like, why is that relevant or 7 years? Why is that relevant in any way?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I
It
personally.
ruined my day, personally.
Yes.
I'm still recovering from it.
You know who's still recovering? Their kids, probably.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being your kids in that thing? Oh, man. Jeez.
Yeah, that's a bit unclassy too. So I'm not sure why. I mean, again, like I wouldn't personally, right? So, just some people get addicted to attention, I guess, right? They miss it. So.
Well, and now let's talk about this like in another way. Because if a celebrity is capable of doing this, someone who's got millions, has a career, has a happy marriage potentially, has children, what does that say for the average guy who's dating a woman that wants to be known and she wants to make it, but she has nothing interesting going on in her life? Now, this isn't fueled by a career, but this absolutely could be something where she triggers drama on a regular basis in order to create an excitement, to create energy, right? Imagine this. You're a couple every day. They go to work. They come home. They cook food at 7 p.m. They put the TV on. They sit down in front of the TV. Then they go to bed. They maybe have sex, maybe don't. They wake up the next day. They do the same thing again. You've got that monotony.
Yeah.
She thinks back to the best relationship she ever had, one of her first relationships where they didn't know how to be healthy. They didn't know how to communicate, and they would argue, and she would cause drama. And she's like, this relationship sucks, the one I'm in, but I don't want to break up with the guy, but I do want excitement. He's not triggering excitement. I'm going to annoy him, and I'm going to I'm going to entertain us by annoying this guy. Right, so I'm relevant. So I've got something to talk to my friends about. Imagine phoning up your friend Jenny, right? And you're like, hey, Jenny. And she's like, how's everything? You're like, everything's great. What'd you yesterday? We watched that new TV show. Fabulous.
Boring.
Shout out to you tomorrow, right? As opposed to, hey, Jenny, how you doing? Oh, my God, I'm okay. And you won't believe what happened to me. What? Well, my husband yesterday didn't pick up the trash. And you're, the fiend, right? And now there's topic. Now you got something to talk about, right? So she's got a reason to communicate and to have drama so she can have someone feel sympathy. I told you to get rid of that rat. You see what I mean? And it's crazy how boredom drives drama. Now, and we've known this since the Roman times. Like, I'm always thinking about the Roman Empire. You guys?
Probably every day.
Yeah, do you think about the Roman Empire very often?
Quite
Vince?
often,
Yeah, it's very common. And but what I find fascinating about the Roman Empire is they knew that Rome was so safe that people were causing drama, so they created the Colosseum and the gladiatorial games to entertain people because they didn't have TV. Otherwise, they would have just watched TV.
Losers.
Yeah.
So have any of you guys had experience of that kind of drama with somebody, and how have you dealt with it?
Craving for drama. Yeah, I think it's a constant.
With the women you date or women in general?
Including myself, like people, women. I think we all crave drama.
I agree.
And the opposite of that is like really not easy. For me, the toughest thing to do is to just sit still with whatever is.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, I have trouble with that too. I'm probably the more dramatic one of the two. But no, I think women. I find that the female needs to be seen and heard. And if they don't, then they'll start doing crazy things to like be seen and heard. So I think every woman has that within them. Every person has that within them a little, because every guy and every man and woman has masculine and feminine within them. But like there are certain women who crave it more, and they crave it a lot, and definitely psychotics, as you've talked about in your personality tests. They tend to crave it a lot more, and if they don't get it, they will do whatever it takes to get it. And they're sometimes very effective at it. So, like, strippers, all kinds of different people that crave high stimulation. I think they want that,
And just to be clear, psychotics, I define, it's a psychological term. It's people that make emotional decisions versus logical decisions. I don't mean psychopaths. There's a big
we should define that.
Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, we're using shorthand jargon because we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm thinking that, again, I actually know a lot of men who seek that too, Even mutual friends of ours that would come over and be like, you won't believe what just happened. I'm like, oh my God.
I know the guy. I know who you're thinking of.
Yeah, this one guy that,
was there today.
Yeah, he was there today. Always likes to be like, let me tell you what some other people tell me. Like, I don't need to know. I specifically say, I'm like, no, let's just work, but no. I just sometimes it comes my way,
And this is the funny thing. I love having no drama. I'm like happiest with no drama. I want zero drama. I want to just be hanging out and do fun, nerdy things and like not have drama.
I think you, I don't know. I think you like solving problems.
I
do. Agree. Yes.
I like solving problems, but I would rather solve non-drama problems.
How can you have a non-drama problem? Because then there's no urgency.
Growth. So there's the carrot and the stick. You're either chasing growth or you're running from pain. I hate running from pain. I grew up running from pain. Yeah. Everything was terrible. Everything was bad. And it was just like, solve the problem, solve the problem, solve the problem. I would much rather rearrange my life that I'm constantly growing, and I'm so far ahead of the pain that I'm chasing growth. And actually, I will not relax. I will focus on chasing growth, so I never relax and never end up getting the pain catching up to me. I would rather move ahead.
Wow. But you're still running from a pain, but it's like it's buried deep down.
It's so I don't think it was buried. I think it's so far behind me because I'm so busy running, right? That I'm trying to continually reach the next peak to stay away from that which will come if I turn around and start looking at the problem. Instead of being vague, let me be really specific. If I'm in a relationship with somebody and I can feel that we are getting into a monotony, I'm going to create not a problem, but a new goal. A new goal that is such a big reach that we will have to put a lot of time, energy, and effort to reach it so that all of that energy is there. But it isn't, we wait until it's so bad that now we have to solve the drama problem. And that's my preference. So, if I notice like, oh my God, monotony, I'm like, okay, now let's do this thing that is really, really different and wild.
Sure. Okay, so that makes sense. Because I thought that, like, I guess maybe as a limiting belief, but like sometimes I feel like there has to be issues and problems, and drama is a good source of that, so you have something to do. And so people who love solving problems, I always felt like they love the drama aspect so they could have a problem to solve. But yours is more about growth.
Yeah, I would rather. So I'll give you some like real examples, right? So like, obviously we're nerds, but like in our life, one of the things that I would do, like with Eve, is we just started taking part in these live action role playing fights. And
boy, there's so much drama there.
Right, exactly. But like that drama is not actually impacting us, right? So it's a fictional world where we're meeting up and sword fighting, but it means that we have to sword fight twice a week to stay healthy enough that when we go there we can fight. So we can't sit down. It's like, we got to sword fight. When I saw Eve the other day practicing her bow and arrow, she was outside, shooting her bow. So I had my kids sneak up on her and attack her. That's drama. But it's simulated drama where there's no actual issue.
Right, no real consequence.
Yeah, and so I'm constantly thinking, what fake drama can I cause that is actually fun so that there is constantly a new thing to do? A good example is like photography. I recently got into action figure photography. Again, I've never done it before. I was like, this would be a stupid thing to do, let's do it. And then when I did it, I bought all the stuff for it. It literally cost like $300 because it's action figures. And I set it all up on the living room floor in front of her while she was reading a book. And I'm just like taking pictures, knowing that she's a professional photographer. It took like 20 minutes before she told me what I was doing wrong. 30 minutes later, she's now in there with me, helping me take pictures.
Step aside.
Yeah, exactly, right?
That's not how you do it.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I got this. I'm pretty sure if I turn all the lights off, it looks better. It's like, no, you idiot. Like, But that's the point. I would rather do that than sit next to her reading a book, fast forward 6 weeks, and she says all we do is sit on the sofa and read books.
That's brilliant. You know, that really validates. This is interesting.
Okay.
Because not too long ago, I was in the middle of a coaching session, and the person's request that day was, I want to be more like, let's say, somebody like Adam Lyons.
Okay.
I go, well, you know, I just happen to know Adam Lyons, and
They really said that?
Genuinely, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Genuinely, I thought, okay.
What a coincidence.
What would be a characteristic of Adam that would assist this gentleman? I said, you know, Adam is very forward in his thinking. It's very growth oriented. I don't ever recall you not stating something forward, a solution. You're a beautiful, extreme example of solution oriented thinking.
Thank you.
Goal, forward. And that's what I suggested to the person.
Nice.
Thanks.
Now, I love, it brings up the interesting element of first, how could a person gauge the level of drama of the other person? That would be essential. And I know it's not easy. I often hear people say, how do you know if a person is overly dramatic or not? And here, like a side note for me, I find, you know, you mentioned age before. I'm 55 years old, heading to 56. So it's an interesting age. It's like the age of transcendence, where everything that I valued, that I sought so strongly, is now going to lead to like, okay, there's got to be more to it than all of that. And I was really moved by the thinking of Carl Jung.
Yep.
That we all, without knowing it, caught in a debate. And every day, all the clients that I help, they caught in a debate. Should I text her again? Should I not? Should I stay with her? Should I not? Should I go with multiple? Should I just, should this or that? So 2 things. And your own personal debate. I mean, it's fascinating if we have an interesting debate like now. That's one thing.
Yeah.
If we, let's say, you know, man, this is an interesting area. Should I relocate? Should I not? Let's think about it. But that constant, like, should I this, should I that? If we don't pay attention to it, it's subtle.
Yeah, it's
and
wasted
I think
energy.
that's part of the trigger that
Yeah.
creates that we want out of it. I don't want that debate anymore. And every day, and if I resolve an aspect of the debate, there's going to be another one. So a higher solution is forward thinking, like you guys. Beautiful.
I love that, yeah.
And then personally, at a pickup standpoint, you know, let's see, you having a little interaction to channel the drama instead of having the debate on the inside. Should I text her? Should I not? Text her a debate. I'm a champion of that. I will present those little debates, okay? Like a question, you know? Like, oh my God, I'm going to Austin, Texas. Do I stay 2 nights or 3 nights? Help! And they're on it right away. As a woman, okay, most women would agree, they're on it. So you got to channel the drama. And I'm inspired. Like, I feel it. Your presence is that, like,
Dude, I love this.
taking on the world.
You're saying give the women you're dating like options? Is that what you were saying?
So what do you?
I go
go for it.
I
fast.
think
I'm like,
he's and indecisiveness. And I always tell our coaching clients too on the phone, be like, hey, well, you know, like during the process signing up, we're like, oh no, let me think about it for a week. I'm like, what are you gonna think about for a week? Oh my God. I need to look at my finances. Like, for a week? You know, like, oh my,
Yeah.
all you're doing is robbing time from yourself, right? It's either
Right.
a yes or a no, but decide, right? If it's a no, that you can be a no and go do something else. If it's a yes, let's go, right? But I'm gonna think about it for a week or a month. So like, oh, I let in, I'm like, 24 hours. Tomorrow you let me know. Otherwise, forget my number. You know, so.
Dude, I love this. This is so, and this is why I freaking love you, Vince. By the way, like for everyone who's like never heard of Vince Kelvin, by the way, like first of all, you're robbing yourself of looking at the guys that have paved the way for all the new people to come. But like, there is so much wisdom in what he said, right? So much. Like, there are a lot of guys that like, you know, don't be a fucking pussy, like just fucking make a decision, right? There are those kind of guys, like, or just fucking pick, right? Or just do the action. No, there's so much more power in, first of all, understanding. Debates are great, personal debates are terrible, right?
Yeah.
Which is the first thing that Vince said, which I agree with 100%. I'm exactly the same. Any minute I am having an internal discussion, and I'd never even voiced it until you said it, by the way, so that's fabulous. That needs to end straight away, and I do.
How do you end it though?
So we'll get there. He gave a solution. One is make the debate an opportunity to talk to another woman. Send the debate to her and let her deal
It's
with
her
it.
problem now, right?
Yeah.
She's gonna decide whether he's staying 2 nights or 3 nights. You
Yeah.
know, it's up to her. I love that solution.
Right, it's kind of like the idea of like the guy that tossed a coin to make decisions or rolled a dice to make decisions, right? Or
Yeah.
always just said yes. like in his situation, he's saying always just ask another woman. What a great opportunity to continue a conversation. Go on a dating app and just send it to, hey, I'm flying to Austin tomorrow. I don't know if I'm staying 2 or 3 nights. Can you pick for me? Right? Like, and you send that to 200 women. Imagine like, hey, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
Oh, that's
I'm
the
flying to
fastest
Austin.
response,
Yeah.
right?
Do I stay for 2 nights or 3? Like, what? Right?
I mean, yeah, I would respond to that too, like thinking about it, right?
But I still don't know if I should stay 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah.
Well, then you gotta write down all the answers, compare who's who, who's won, which one, two, which one's.
You know what? One of the most misunderstood steps I took was a program called God-Given Game. God-Given Game. And right there, it would be easy, and I love that I can easily be misread. It's a little bit like of the final frontier. But I'm all about core healing for both men and women. And in that program, what I wanted to utter that was totally misunderstood, God-given game would be, it's already there. If let's say, I don't know what to say, that's what I should say. I don't know what to say, but you grab my attention. Then I realized that I'm not really comfortable. And forgive me, but I'm not really comfortable. And then you get clever. Do you know? Sorry, my saliva.
You're good.
All the way
No,
to the
it's
shirt.
okay.
It's
I
so
let
many
it be?
places already,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
we're good.
All right, so, but so let's say then you get clever, okay,
Yeah.
and you go, do you know you have that effect on people? Do you know you're making me shy? But to keep it like many people misunderstood the idea of natural game as, oh, this person is so giving and it's natural for them. I think natural would be keep it real, whatever you're experiencing,
Yeah.
whoever you are at the time. Don't think that it's working against you. Make it work for you.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree too.
You're channeling your inner core. You're connecting with your inner thoughts, and there's no sort of edits, or it's just coming out. It's pure you. It's like I think we call it the flow state or something, where there's no thinking, there's only doing, and that's the highest level of game that you can get to. And like, we always talk about. I think most of when I was looking at real social dynamics, I remember back in the day, like 99% of what they would talk about would be to try and get to that point that you were saying. They would try and they would have these weird mental mindset techniques that you could go through to get there. But the essence of it is what you're describing.
Just be
yeah.
Vince Kelvin.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be Vince Kelvin.
So,
yeah.
this is getting too sophisticated for me. I'm so sorry. I actually considering studying a new addition to all of our podcasts at the end. Be like,
Yeah.
explain to me like I'm 5. It's gonna be great. Anyhow, I have a question for Vince.
Oh, please.
How did the quality of makeup and saliva transcended during the years from 97 up until present day? And what did you do during COVID? Were you able to make out still?
That was the big challenge. That's when
Tell me more
I
about
used it
this.
in reverse.
Ooh.
Oh my God! Whatever you learn is with you for a lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned
You not kiss them during COVID, basically.
Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I lived at 1600 Vine. That's where all those things happened initially. And it's a very busy area of Hollywood.
Wine and
during
Sunset,
COVID,
right?
I used all my awareness of body language and so on to avoid people. I used my ability to dress up to really like down dress.
Wait, you should have
went
got
opposite.
your hair sort of up, out, so people will keep away. You know what I mean?
Keep
that'll be
away,
kind of-
hide it, okay? And the big question right now, I've had more makeouts more recently by asking people, do you think that kissing is a thing of the past? That would be pretty sad, wouldn't it, to miss out on this unique moment where, finally your lips are coming closer to mine. And then
This is speed seduction, guys.
and I will pass on it. Currently, I'm passing on it. It would have to be very special. I mean, I challenge any woman out there to go, hey, you're known as the kissing saint. You're the guy with the 5,000 makeouts. I'm going to kiss you now. No. Keep your distance. I did not
Reverse
yet fully
psychology.
come
This is
out
such
of
good
this thing. Yeah.
You'd be like, I don't think you're worthy of my kiss.
I think I'm gonna
It's 5,000
I'm gonna
women.
put down 5,000 people. That's my next goal. I've done it. But how many more can I kiss? After a while, it's just confusing. It's just like
And I'm just imagining he like
insane.
meets a woman on the street and he's like, yeah, listen, normally, like if we'd have met 4 years ago, I'd have made out with you. But after COVID, this can't happen anymore. Like, I'm so sorry, I just met you, but this has to end. We can't make out no matter how much you want, no matter how you feel our lips coming together. put that from your mind. Don't think about it. There is nothing on this planet that's gonna make me kiss
No
you.
matter how special and magical this moment may
Yeah.
be, it's just not going to happen.
This is
But
like
you know what,
classic
though?
game,
You know what?
guys.
To reach the place where it would be wonderful if it happened, or it would be wonderful if it doesn't happen. And I would say that's a journey. But when you reach that place, because right now it'd be wonderful. Like sometimes sex becomes a task. Sometimes you have other things to do. So like I'm
So
at
hard
the
to be
place-
guys.
I gotta break this down, guys. If you're not hearing the amazing game, can you imagine saying, just think this through, right? Like, imagine if we could reach a place where it would be wonderful that we didn't kiss, and wonderful if we did. Wouldn't you want that, right? And they go, yeah, I would, right? Just think through, because you're agreeing to both statements. You're agreeing saying it's wonderful if we don't kiss, and it's wonderful if we do. Vince, everything you say is such a good
If
game.
for the rest of my life I was by myself, celibate, what an achievement. I'm kind of looking forward to it. And if, or if I'm like, this is it. Finally, my sixth wife was the one. We stayed together. I don't know. This is just fascinating.
Just love you, dude.
You gotta keep it at that place. And it's true. It's genuine. There used to be a time when I would be like, I so want to kiss her. Hey, maybe, we should wait. Like the classic takeaway. Now it's just like, probably not.
Yeah, but
Probably.
unless you were really special. Unless you're the one. And
Like
there's
Even then, the time could be invested meditating, painting.
Yeah, you tell her that it's
doing
only
a
special
variety of
person who can
things.
break his celibacy.
Yeah, but in the
It's like-
meantime, let's hang out and meditate and paint. Like, guys, this is so good. Like, and the best part about like Vince's game, by the way, like everyone listens to it, it is genuine. Like, this isn't an act. Like, it's not like Vince leaves here and then puts his suit back on, right? And, like,
Takes the hair off.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I got
Takes off the
what do you
wig.
call it? The Mick Jagger syndrome.
Right? Yeah.
You've heard of the Mick Jagger syndrome, right?
No, go for it.
No, that's it. Apparently, when they were done off stage, everybody would get out of character. He did not.
Oh, yeah.
He did that.
He was just Mick
He
Jagger.
stayed in
Yeah,
there,
that was.
Yeah, and that's why like Vince is Vince. And like truly, like whatever, like there is a tendency to see somebody like Vince or even Vince himself and to make assumptions, right? To be like, oh, that guy, there's no way it's real. There are YouTube videos that prove it is. There are people that are going to look at it and be like, I could never do that. But Vince does, right? Vince isn't tall. Vince doesn't have all those advantages. He just has great game in an amazing way with words. That is the power. And even if you believe in, making money, looking good, good for you. I'm the same. I'm with you on that, right? Like, I love making money. I love,
it's not an
working
either
out.
or.
Yeah, it's not either or. But dear Lord, add this element. Like, grab some of that and add it, because when a woman is stuck between two guys who both work out and both are successful and both have a higher social status, she's gonna pick the one that knows how to talk in a way that gets her to open up her mind to the possibility of what would happen if they interacted with this person. That's the power of words. It's beautiful. Like, you guys, this is a masterclass in communication you're getting here, and I hope you appreciate it.
She will also gravitate towards the person that will be okay if she doesn't want it. At
Yeah.
the core.
Yeah.
At the core.
Yeah.
That's often been misunderstood, but like I work all the time on, if I hear I don't like you, please, I want more people not to like me, because how can I like myself until I'm okay if I'm not being liked,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So
I have more questions though, Vince.
Please, yeah.
Please.
Roll 'em.
Have you ever kissed a man?
have I ever kissed a man? Well, out of 5,000,
I'm
it's,
sure some sneak in,
somewhere, somehow. Somebody tried to trick me once, and I saw it last minute. I don't think so, no.
No? Okay. All right. So in that case,
I mean, I have been tempted to come close to myself in the mirror. It's like if you can zoom in, like, oh, Vince.
I mean, statistically, with the way
Hey,
surgeries are going these days, what you might have happened, you wouldn't know.
anyhow,
All right. Next
statistically
question.
speaking, what was your best kiss if you remember? Oh,
It's the one that
10,
is
like,
yet
is
to
there-
come.
Oh, okay.
It's the one that's yet to come. I love the non-kiss kiss,
Okay, non-kiss kiss was the
The
best.
non-kiss kiss. That's when you get really close. Here's my favorite way to kiss,
Babe, I'm
okay?
trying to kiss you right now.
There's the element of trust always is essential. Okay, so tell the person, I want you to know that you can trust me completely.
So here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna bring your lips really close to mine, but maybe a little more, okay? And now I know what you're gonna think. You're gonna think I'm gonna kiss you, and I'm not gonna do it. And I want you to ride those little waves so you know that you can also trust yourself that in the worst case, you're fine. Okay, so boosting the other person's confidence as well. And then you do it 3 times, and I told you I wasn't gonna kiss you, I didn't kiss you, and the proximity is very arousing. Proximity is very arousing. And in that moment, that's when I would go, and now that you know you can trust me, you better trust me that when I tell you I'm gonna kiss you, I'm gonna kiss you. And that's when you kiss. No, that one didn't do it.
No,
I'm sorry.
that's great. But I'm
Good.
Adam was about
Okay.
to make out with you. I think it was good.
A lot
No,
of it
it
is
makes- no,
awareness,
I
right?
understand.
I'm
Yeah,
more
no,
aware
for
of it
sure.
now. I'm
No,
like
it's
all like
pre-built.
lips
Yes.
aware.
Yeah, it's great. In an environment where you're sitting here and you're going through 1, 2, 3 quickly, the third one sounds uncalibrated. But it isn't when you're in the moment because
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
reading
of
the
course.
person. If the person is willingly moving in and like, oh yeah, you're right, and then you say it, you know you're gonna get it. But he's only gonna say it when he knows it's gonna happen.
I didn't think it sounded too uncalibrated. I thought it sounded
Yeah, I
pretty
feel
good.
like Lloyd ready to kiss him as well.
I'm way too far. I'm gonna-
he's
That's
like-
why I did this
He's
on
been
purpose.
nudging
The
closer
distance
there,
of the
I'm
table
like,
was on
"Whoa, buddy."
purpose.
All right, what was the worst kiss then? Or one of the worst, like, if you can remember them. You gotta give me something
There were a
juicy.
few last minute, like, watch out, what's that on the lips? No, sorry.
Little herpes sore. You're like, whoa, didn't see that one.
But no, a little voice will always internally guide me. There was an interesting moment where this girl was like touching me and everything, but somehow she wouldn't kiss. And suddenly I walk inside the bathroom and I see her like acting like she was getting caught with my mouthwash. So she had been breath conscious all night long.
That makes sense. Yep.
And I was taking it personally. I thought it was me. I didn't know.
I actually,
know.
I had
And she finally stole my mouthwash to be ready to kiss me.
I had this situation with a Latvian woman. It's the only Latvian woman I've ever been with. And for now, in my head, all Latvian women are like just
Oh my
like
God.
her, by the
Ruined
way.
it. That's the whole
yeah,
country.
and so she was beautiful. We were like making out. We get back to my place. We're in bed. And she would not take off her underwear. Like everything. Like she was making out. She was sucking me. She had me in her mouth. Like, everything was great. But she
I
would
am a
not
bad
take.
influence. I am a bad influence. I hear you now.
Right,
I
yeah,
am a bad influence.
something's wrong. Yeah, and so, but anyway, eventually I'm like touching her over her underwear and she's okay with it. She's getting more and more turned on. Eventually, no, definitely not. And eventually, I go to take her underwear off, and you know, she's like not officially said yes, but hasn't said no either. And she's like moving towards taking it off herself, but it isn't there. And I go to take it off and I stop and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to take this off unless you say that you're okay with it. That's not going to happen. And she says, look, I'm okay with it, but I haven't shaved. And I'm like, that's the reason? She goes, that's the reason. I'm
Yep,
like,
yep.
I like hair. And she goes, oh, thank God. And she just like threw it off, right? Like, so in her head, she's holding back because she hasn't shaved. She's worried I'm going to reject her. In my head, she's holding back because she doesn't know if she wants to have sex. The reality is she had pubic hair and was worried about
I
it.
find that also to be the case sometimes in long-term relationships where there's a total misunderstanding. Like every time that I have a little difference with my girlfriend, later on when we talk, I realize that it was a completely different reason than what I imagined. And now I know I still got to work. But all that talk is funny. For me, I foresee the transcendence. I think we got to go through the sex thing and so on to transcend it. I was really moved this last past couple of months. You know, I went to visit my father. My father, the ultimate alpha male, you know, CEO of several companies, guy would be like riding a Harley all the way to Baja, Mexico, climb the Alps and so on, always top-notch hockey coach of my hockey team and so on. And now he can barely move. He's got Parkinson. He's in a retirement home. And when I saw him, I was like, you know, that's the most heroic I have ever witnessed him to be. So it puts things back into perspective. And there's stages and season for everything, but that's the season where I'm at. So I'm kind of moved by that, and hopefully I can help a couple more people along the way.
Transcendence.
Very, very genuinely. So
I love this. Do you have more questions for Vince? I feel like you.
I have still questions. This is getting very serious and heavy for me. I'm not ready for
I think
retirement discussions.
I mean,
and-
wherever this goes, I'm happy.
Yeah,
Okay.
get it.
I don't know. Well, I want to know statistic of kissing. Which nationality of women kiss better? Do you have a favorite nationality to kiss?
Oh, I'm
All of
sorry, everybody. French kiss.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
French, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Cool.
French, Italian, South
true.
American,
Oh,
That's true.
Eastern Europeans,
Okay.
Americans.
All right.
Ba-da-da-dum.
He's just listing all of them.
How about you, Lloyd? What's your favorite nationality to kiss?
I mean, I think French, honestly, yeah, no, I'd agree with them, actually. Like, all the French women that I've been with have been, like, very, very good in the bedroom. Half of them have been terrible personalities, though, so.
Yeah.
Extremely
As
stuck
a
up.
French-speaking
you know?
person, I have the right to, to just state it. Hey, sure, you know.
Well, you're Swiss, aren't you? Swiss tend to be a bit nicer. The Parisians, in my opinion, they tend to be the worst.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He's done his research.
I've always been looking forward to that little debate right there. No, no, but it's true. The French women can.
They know what they're doing.
Yep.
Sure, they have experience. It's great.
But do not marry them.
Well, what about you, Adam? Obviously Russian, I assume.
Russians are obviously number one, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, you can say something because I'm not being the best, you know.
No, so for me, it's actually not about nationality. It's about lip size. I love making out with people with big lips, so I love her lips because she's got big lips. So for me, it's like the bigger the lips, the more attracted I am. And so I'm like, like the women that get the lip filler, and I know it's terrible. It's like when it's giant, I'm just like, that's really hot. And it doesn't matter. The more they look like a frog or a duck, the more I'm like, yeah, I'm yours. And even if it's like ridiculously big, everyone's like, look how ridiculous that is. I'm the guy that's like, kind of like it.
Yeah, look how ridiculous that is.
Yeah, it's so.
Who is she?
Yeah, God.
What's her name?
What's her number so you can tell her
Every-
on the phone how ridiculous she looks?
Everyone should stay away from her, and I'll hang out with her. I am that guy basically, and I think a lot of guys won't admit it. They're like, yeah, that's disgusting. I'm like, no, I do like it because there's a reason women do it, and they do it because guys like it.
Whatever works the
Yeah,
best.
no, I think people give it hate because they're maybe a little jealous, or I don't know. They just maybe they don't have that, and there's a lot of that going
Well,
on.
yeah, I think if I go back to when I was 25 years old, so I started getting good at dating at 26. So I always think back to 25. At 25, I did not want a woman that had enhancements in any way. I did not want a woman that worked out. I did not want a woman that was confident. I did not want a woman that was successful.
Really?
At 25, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reality is because I thought I couldn't keep her. But
Ah.
I could never have admitted that at 25. At 25, if you'd have said to me why, I would have said, oh, because it's fake, they're not real. And genuinely, I think this is what messes up a lot of women. I think a lot of women interact with 90% of the male population who do not feel confident enough that they could keep a woman who looked like that. And so the women here, I want someone who's natural, I want someone who doesn't do this. But the majority of women who are in, I would say, the top 20, 30% of looks of high quality, all do it. And there's no way that they're doing that because it doesn't work. They're doing it because it does work, and it's working on the highest level of men who are confident that they can keep that kind of woman.
That's true. I had that with a number of sexual partners. I think when I was like, before I learned game and I wasn't good with women, I was like, pretty much every woman that I even tried to get with, I kind of knew she had probably more sexual partners than me. I never knew the exact number. There's a couple of them I've figured it out, and I would feel so self-conscious about it. And I'm talking like these women had slept with like maybe like 10 people, but even for me, that was like, oh my god, 10 people, like. I felt super insecure before I got here. Yeah. And so I felt super insecure about it. And now I'm at, like, I'm not going to get with a woman who's had more sexual partners. Or if she has, there's no way she'd admit it. But, like, now that's not really a thing that I worry about anymore. And so, like, when I hear guys online that are like, if she's not a virgin or if she's had, like, over 7 bodies, like, she's damaged, she's for the streets. And I'm just like, do you actually date women? Like,
Dude.
Have you been to Los Angeles?
I like the comedian as well too. He said about once like, "Hey ladies, what's up with always saving yourself for the one? You practice for the one because when you meet the one, you better make sure you fuck them good."
Exactly.
So it's like a big advocate.
It's so true.
ridiculous to me.
I mean, like, my first wife, when I was married, she was a virgin. So we had the whole, you know, first time having sex together. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't a virgin, but she was. You know, when we got married, and I've had people, you know, in the dating industry at the time when that happened, be like, "Oh, that's so cool that you met a virgin. Like, that's so great." And the reality is that was definitely not the best sex of my life. And honestly, like, there's a part of me that the fact she hadn't been with anyone was somewhat appealing and definitely was more motivating for marriage. Like, I wouldn't say it's the only reason, it definitely wasn't, and I'm very happy I married her. But it was a factor, and I really wish it wouldn't have been. Like, I would actually rather it wasn't a factor and that she wasn't a virgin and that she had been with other people. That would have actually made it better because I would have made a much more informed decision about what I was getting into. And so, you know, genuinely, as somebody, you know, I've slept with 4 virgins. I know exactly who they are. Like, I remember them 100%. And every single time, it was about her, not me.
Yeah.
It was never for me. It was for her.
Was it ever very good for you?
It was never good. It was always
Yeah,
terrible.
I've never had it been good.
And like, a lot of women don't have their hymen intact. Of the 4 that I slept with, only 2 of them still had their hymen intact because it can get damaged in so many ways. One of them lost it while she was horse riding. Like, English women horse ride, and that's a thing, right? So it can get damaged in so many different ways, or at least that's the story she told me. Being real, but you know, the one I think my favorite time was actually not my wife. It was a woman that I was hanging out with, and we'd been hanging out for like a month as friends. And one day we go to bed together, and she's like, "Hey, I want to tell you something." And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "I'm a virgin. I just want to make sure you know." And I'm like, "No." And she said, "What do you mean no?" I was like, "No, we're not having sex." And she goes, "How dare you?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You don't get to tell me no. It's my virginity. I've chosen you. You're getting rid of it."
Imagine if a man said that to a woman in that context. How fun that would be! Like, no, you're not telling me no. I've chosen you. I'm
It's
losing
my-
my virginity with
What's
you.
your
you
body, my choice.
Exactly, right? No, it's not just like reversing the roles there a little bit. How like how is okay basically?
She
no?
didn't give me consent to not have sex with her. And so I had to. No, but she actually said to me, she was like, "Look," she goes, "I know who you are. I know the amount of women you've been with. I hate that this is above my head. I'm 25 years old. I am tired of it being a big deal. I want it gone." And she goes, "And I want it gone with someone who knows what they're doing, who can make it special, and who's never going to see me again." She goes, "Can you just fuck me, get it over with, and let me go meet somebody better than you?" And I was like, first of all, ow. Second of all, I was like, okay. I was like, "But I need a minute." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Go shower. I'm going to go out and be back in 20 minutes. And she's like, "Why?" I was like, just do it and humor me. If you want me to do this for you, let me do this." And she went, "Okay." And so she goes to the shower, and I left, went to the corner store. In England, there's corner stores everywhere. And I bought flowers. And I came back in with flowers.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Well, that was my point. I wanted it to be special, right? So I come in with flowers, and she looks at me, and she goes, "What the fuck is that?"
Throw away the flowers.
I was-
No,
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking that wasn't the move.
Yeah, and I was like, I got these for you. And she's like, "Why?" I was like, "Just to make sure you know that you're special."
I'm gonna take your flowers.
And she's
I'm gonna
like,
give some back.
No, well, she looks at me, and like I can see her eyes start to go, and I was like,
Go where? Where are they going?
But like, no, she starts to cry.
Oh, okay.
But like not full on crying. It's like a happiness cry, right? And I look at her and I said, "And just so you know, it's just tonight, never again." And she goes, "Just tonight, never again." I'm like, "Okay." And so I put music on, I lay her down, I get some wine, and there's like flowers and wine and candles, and there's chocolates, and we do a whole thing. Like, we make it a thing. I like go down on her first, I get her worked up, we have sex, it's a bit painful, and I ask her, I'm like, "Do you want us to be gentle?" Like, and I guide her through it. We have sex, we fuck for hours. I make sure that, you know, she orgasms, she has a great time as best as I can, because it's difficult because she's not been through that. Anyway, and the point is, at the end of it, at the very end, it was a very beautiful moment. That was the only one that was like that. Like the others, it was awkward and painful and weird, to the point that I was like, "No, I'm not going to do this again," until somebody told me I had to.
Now, what about a born-again virgin? Born again. Did you ever encounter some born-agains? I want to be a born-again.
What is that?
I want to be a born-again virgin.
You got to take some time off for that.
I take my virginity back. A born-again virgin. I
So
encounter
you
He identifies
Wait,
as a
wait,
virgin.
wait.
So
Yeah, is that a thing now?
Oh yeah, no, it's been a thing for some time.
So
A born-again virgin.
Oh, so how does
Right.
it work? Can you explain to me?
Or
please?
have I
Like, I'm
been out of the
5-year-old,
loop?
please.
No,
and
you're
there's
good.
no more born-again virgins?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
If you say it is, it's a
no,
thing.
no. I mean,
Well, can you explain to me
encounter-
how that
It's a
works?
woman who had a lot of sex
Uh-huh.
and decides to take it back. So
Okay.
she's a born again virgin.
Yeah, I've done a few of those.
So there you are, and you got a guy. Well, you couldn't wait a little longer, maybe just after me, or. But I would like to be a born again virgin myself,
Every morning.
right?
What?
I want to
Born-again
take it
virgin
all
every
back.
morning.
What if I
Wake up
could
every
take it all
morning.
back and be a born again virgin, and I'd be a virgin right here, right now?
Oh no, I don't want that.
What was?
This is what he's going to say to women. Like, this is another pickup. I'm telling you.
Being
This
seduced.
is how it works. This is the
No, but
best thing about Vince.
they would be like.
Yeah, they would be like, I'm going to
They
take that
were-
virginity.
In the early days, there was a guy, a group of us, and there was this one girl, very, very strong-minded, and nobody could get to her. And one guy got to her by telling her that suddenly he could not get it up anymore, and she took matters at hand, and she wanted to help him. And that's what did it. So I'm going to be a born-again virgin, I think. I came here to find it. This is thanks to you guys.
I'm glad you're inspired.
That's it.
Glad we could.
I
glad we could
knew
help.
this was more than just a trip coming here. This was a pilgrimage.
I really, really, really want to challenge everyone watching this, everyone in the dating community. Use just like one of the things you hear Vince say, because I'm not kidding. Vince, actually, you taught me something many, many years ago. It's a dating technique, and I have used it. I still teach it to this day. Credit to you. It is one of the best things I've ever heard.
Oh, share it, tell
anybody.
us.
Yeah, and I'll share it. But it's so good. And I remember the first time I heard you say it, you didn't even say it to me. You said it to like a group of people. I just listened. And I was like, there's no way that's going to work.
Well, gotta tell us. Come
oh,
on.
And
right,
then
all
Have
right.
fun.
I did it, and it works so good every time. It's so stupid. You've heard it. It goes like this. You go, I just don't understand blowjobs. And you're talking to a woman, and she's like, what do you mean? You go, I don't understand them. They confuse me. And the woman's like, I don't understand. How do they confuse? Like, you don't like them? I go, no, I like them. I just don't understand them. I find the whole process of a blowjob is very confusing. And so the woman's like, okay, well, let me help. I'm like, look, what I don't get is why any woman would want to give one. Like, like, it's like soft in your mouth, and then it gets harder and harder, and you can just like imagine it going, and you're describing it to her, and you'll see it in her face. Her eyes, like, she's imagining doing it while talking to you. And then the best thing happens. They then try and convince you why they like doing it. And this is the most
And I said that?
You said this.
That was before I was born again.
This.
I totally take it back.
Yes.
No such word would ever come out of my mouth. But will come out of yours. No.
Exactly. But it's great because they do. They will then describe to you what they love about doing it, and they'll like, and you can be even more confused. You go like, really, like, I mean, would you just do it to a stranger? You go, oh yeah, I've done it to strangers. Like, and they'll tell you everything. And the success
I'm
rate on
officially
this,
blushing.
the success rate is so high. Now, not to a stranger. You can't go up to somebody straight, but like, if you're talking to somebody for like 30 minutes, just try it. And I'm not kidding, like, try the born-again virgin thing. Like, just try this stuff. Try saying that you don't make
I
out.
mean it. Whenever I'm serious, people don't take me seriously. I want to be a born again. This is not a joke.
It's a tough life for Vince Kelvin.
I
It's a
don't
tough
know
life.
how long it will take to undo all of that stuff, though, for you, Vince. You know, it's quite a trip.
No, okay, here's the transcendence. You ready? Here's the transcendence.
Yeah,
okay?
what are you transcending
because
to?
Here's what's going to happen. I have to face the music. There probably will be a time until, unless I depart before that, where I will not be able to have sex anymore. And
You don't say.
I'm kind of looking forward to that. So, no, the first transcendence would be we're just passing through. We're not staying. So right there, if I stay with that for a second, what is it that's no longer valid? My excuses. Why would I have excuses? My concern about what other people may think or not. All of that, all of the high school, elementary, kindergarten conditioning, boom, pulverized in one shot. Then all stereotypes, the second transcendence. I've witnessed, like, I had a very young bisexual girlfriend. I think she was 23. Her thing was elder women, messed up women. One night I thought she was joking. She goes, look at her. She's got a missing tooth. Oh my God. And, you know, when you witness that once, twice, you start to realize. So it's not necessarily can one's Barbie or, no, you know, there's diversity like beyond what we can imagine. So that means that I cannot just nullify myself still buying into all of this. I've been with girls that were so tall, and then the first thing they said, I'm like, oh, you know, you make me feel comfortable because my whole life I've been thinking I was too tall. Really? And the final transcendence is what? I have yet to find it. I will come back in a couple years, if I'm still around, to share the final transcendence. In the meantime...
I never had ayahuasca, but I felt like I just had one.
I have that effect. I have that
okay,
effect.
you know.
Okay, stay away from me. If you're a girl and you're on something out there, I will fry your mind. It would be a big mistake. Just stay away from me. If you're on anything, because that would be. I'm already a lot to process like that. If we add a certain element. Now, I want to really find, that place of being truly genuine and ultimately, also, one thing that was misunderstood along, you know who got it? Lisa Ling.
Who?
Lisa Ling.
Who's that?
Of This Is Life. When we're on CNN, Lisa Ling got it. She said, you guys are the ultimate solution. She's a strong feminist. She got it. She got it because we resolve through providing more choices, more awareness, ultimately, the most skilled PUA guy, whatever they could call themselves, will be the one that will right away detect that a woman has a little hang up and just go ahead. That's fine. You know?
Right. I have a different question then.
All right.
How long does it take you to do your hair every morning?
Takes me a lot of time. I cannot do it by myself. I cannot. I have professional work on it. I got addicted to it at some point. I would go even twice a day. They would be, Vince, you were here this morning. I know, but right here, can you touch it up?
Whoa.
No, this is getting too far. I have a tax accountant that told me, we only have one problem. You good? Yeah, because I pay my taxes. But tax accountant said, we're good. There's only one problem. That's going to look suspicious when you share the amount of money you spend each year on your hair.
Try
I go,
this.
but that is the amount. So they invited me to reduce the amount because it would be a red flag.
But how do you drive or take planes, right? You can't, how
There's
that's
a
not
lot,
challenging.
it seems
Do you
like,
sit over
hey, the hair is cool like that. No, it's very difficult. Sleep to the side. It's not friendly to my back. Doggy style is the predominant way. Even though not my favorite, I find it not intimate enough. I'm more like of a vanilla type of person, you know.
I can tell, yeah.
Missionary or stuff like
The
that.
version,
I just
yeah.
want to cuddle. And what else? The driving. The driving is intense.
I bet-
And the hair like that, you know. So...
Well, you have to drive like
Can't
forward.
look to the right.
Yeah, and I'm doing my best to be that James Bond guy, but then I'm in my car and I'm like an old lady and my girlfriend's next to me and I go, can you look to the right? Look to the right! That's the time when we have to have a camera on us right there. You'd be like, that's Vince Kelvin. I thought this guy was a badass. He drives so slow. It's the hair. It's the hair.
I love it. Cool. I can
Thank you.
relatable.
I freaking love this guy. It's funny. I love what you said about the feminist that gets it. I think it was 2011 or 2010. I'm showing my age. I was invited on South by Southwest to be on a panel, and it was pickup artist versus feminists.
Ooh.
And it was 3 or 4 feminists. I forget how many, to be honest with you. And they had me. And the whole idea was we were going to have this debate. And I messaged the women first and said, would you guys be okay to go to dinner the night before? It's like, totally understand if you don't want to. I'd like to buy dinner. I just would like to meet you first so that when we talk, I can be informed about you guys and you can be informed about me. And all the women agreed, and we went to dinner the night before. And so we're sitting down having Chinese food, all of us the day before, and they start talking to me about, you know, their ideas and conceptions about what I do. And I said, do you mind if I just tell you what I do? And they're like, what? And I was like, men who do not know how to talk to women will typically say the wrong thing. They are likely to offend people because they don't know what to say. And when they're getting advice from a guy who is a douchebag, who naturally can meet a bunch of women, they're going to pick up that douchebag traits. And I was like, tell me if you agree with that or if I'm talking out my ass. They go, no, that makes sense. I'm like, okay, can I tell you my method? And they went, sure. It's like I have a 3-step method. Step 1, we have it's a 6-month program. The first 2 months. Now back then we didn't have it like that, but we still had the focus of at the beginning. You have to make friends with women. You cannot date them. You cannot try and make out with them. You cannot hit on them. Your goal is to be friends. If you cannot make friends with women, you're not ready to learn how to date them. You need to have 4 women friends who know you, trust you, like you, vouch for you. They will help you with hair. They will help you with fashion. They will give you feedback on whether what you're saying is correct or wrong. Step 1. And all the women went, that makes so much sense. I'm like, right, because if you can't be friends with them, you can't date them. Number 2, we focus on conversation and confidence. You got to be able to respond, listen to what somebody says, react to it. I give an example of talking without responding. I was like, it's an interrogation. They go, yep, makes sense. I was like, and the last one is you got to be able to turn her on. You can't have sex with somebody if they're not turned on. You need to be able to do it. This is our method. And all the women went, this is absolutely great. We agree. The next day, we go to South by Southwest. There's probably a recording if you can find it. If you can find it, please send it to me. I'd love a copy of it because I don't have it. And we go there, and the very first words out of their mouth, they're like, okay, begin. And the women go, we just want to say, no matter what happens, Adam's great. We need more of him in the world. This guy should be teaching everyone. And I loved it. It was one of the biggest compliments. I literally just sat back, and the feminists got into each other about consent. Because there was one feminist that was pro-BDSM that said, no doesn't always mean no. And the other feminist says, no always means no. And they go, no, that's why we have safe words. And they got into it. They started screaming at each other. And I literally just sat back the whole time saying, I'm going to say nothing on this. I'm going to be so quiet.
Aren't feminists so dumb?
I did not say that, but that's funny. But I would never have said that. But what I love about it is exactly what you said. The real dating guys, and I'm talking about like the original guys, and I hope you're enjoying this and understand the value that Vince brings, is the whole goal is for the woman to have an amazing experience with you. Whether you end up dating her or not is irrelevant. Whether sex happens or not is irrelevant. A makeout, irrelevant. You want her to have the best time with you. And no matter what, we've got women in the audience, Eve's up here. You don't hang out with Vince and have a bad time. Like, it's funny, it's entertaining, it's enjoyable. And you can't always say that for like douchey guys, right? Sometimes you're like, that guy's an arsehole, I don't want to hang out with him. Somebody who's trained really well in dating, you don't have a bad time. It's fun, it's good, it's nice. And from that point, from there, your success rate is so much higher because you actually have an opportunity. You have a chance to make something happen. And I think this has got lost nowadays. I think a lot of guys have lost this idea of, I'm just going to make sure she has a great time. Because the guy she chooses is the one she has the best time with.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about the experience, right? I remember there was a time where I was in middle school, and the most popular guy was a black guy. He was probably the
What was
only,
his name?
His name was Tom.
Oh,
Tom.
you remember still, huh?
Flynn.
No, his name was Tom Brittle. Actually, I don't. No, zero.
Did you say
chance.
Tom Riddle?
Tom Brittle.
Okay, I was
no,
like,
no, it was not
You're just
Voldemort.
naming things from Harry Potter. Like at this point.
No. Brittle.
Bristle.
Anyway, so he was overweight and probably one of 4 black guys in the school, and
Oh,
every
you counted? What does it matter?
estimating. So this guy was like, I talked to most women, and all of them said that he would be the only guy that they would hook up with. And he was literally the nicest guy you could meet. Every time, he barely knew me, and I thought he didn't remember my name. He's like, hey, Lloyd, how's it going? He would always ask me how I'm doing. There was one time where I forgot you had to bring a videotape to record your presentation, and I forgot mine. I'm in tears, and I'm looking for mine, and he goes, hey, dude, just, like, get my tape out, and, like, you can use it. And, like, I was like, this guy, we're not even friends, and he just offered to give me his tape.
That's so sweet.
And I could not believe, like, how much of a generous and giving person he was to everybody. And that was the first time I learned exactly what you just said, which is that it's not about, like, picking up or game or winning. It's really about making people feel good around you.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, I remember the first time I slept with somebody who was older than me. I was in my early 20s just getting into dating, and she was 38. So it was like a 10, 15-year difference, give or take. Less than 12, I don't know. 26, 38, whatever the math is on that. 12.
12.
There we go.
You're
12
so
is different.
pretty.
Thanks. I was in story mode, not in math mode.
Yeah.
So 12-year difference, which to me was huge. Like, I'd never dated anyone over 31. And it was a woman I'd known for years. And she knew me before I got good at dating. She's been friends for years. Her boyfriend broke up with her. And she was like, hey, I'm in town. My boyfriend just broke up with me. The trains are already finished. Like in England, the trains stop after a certain time. She's like, can I crash at your place? I just have nowhere to go. I was like, yep, absolutely. And so she comes to my place. And I'm watching a movie. So she walks in. I'm like, hey, I'm watching a movie. I can turn it off. We can talk. She goes, no, I don't want to interrupt your movie. Like, I'm good. And so we just sit watching the movie. And she's like, do you mind if I ask you something? I'm like, sure. And she's like, I just don't know the best way to get over a breakup. And I know you're doing dating stuff now. What is it? And I was like, well, I kind of don't want to answer.
So happy you asked.
Yeah, it's like, I was like, it's kind of a bit awkward. And she goes, what do you mean? I was like, well, what you should do, officially, I was like, I'm not saying you should. I was like, but officially you should instantly or as fast as possible meet somebody else and just have a casual hookup. Like someone you trust, someone that you feel comfortable with, that you know it can just be casual sex and go no further. And she goes, okay, that makes so much sense. I just have to find the right guy. I was like, exactly, just find the right guy. I was like, I'm sure you've got plenty.
Any minute, anywhere.
Sure, you've got plenty of people. You know, if you
walk
just
outside, spin in a circle.
Yeah, just look around and you know, just see what you can see. And anyway, and so she's like, okay, that's great. And I was like, and she goes, you know what, my back really hurts. I'm like really stressed about this. I was like, do you want a massage? Is that weird? And she goes, that's not weird. And so I start giving her a massage. And then she turns around and starts making out with me. And we instantly have sex. As soon as we have sex, I'm like, I don't know how to say this, but you know, when I was suggesting somebody, I didn't mean me. And she's like, yeah, you did. And I was like, yeah, I did. And but the point is, it's from friendship. And I think a lot of guys are so terrified of getting stuck in that friend zone because they think that nothing's going to happen, but they don't realize the guys that say they're in the friend zone, they're not in the friend zone. They're in the I'm trying to pretend to be nice to guilt her into having sex zone.
Yes, yes.
Tough zone to be.
Yeah.
That's not the zone that should be ever.
Yeah, that's not the friend zone. When a woman's like, oh, I just think of you as a friend, that's, you're really creepy and I don't want to upset you in case you turn toxic. It's not the same thing. When a woman actually thinks of you as a friend, they say stuff like, hey, I just had a really bad date, but I was hoping I'd get laid. Could you fuck me? That's what friends say. And they are situations I have actually been in. Women don't come to me and be like, you know, you're really creepy. I don't want anything to do with you. Or they don't say, I think of you as just a friend. We could never have sex. Like, the last friend of mine that I had sex with, she literally said to me, I know one day we're going to have sex. It's just about when. And then we had sex that night. Like, that's what actual friendship is. And guys get that wrong because a woman understandably uses, I see you as a friend, as a nice way to let you down. You're not in the friend zone. You're being let down nicely. Make no mistake. That's what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, like, when I was younger, I had female friends. I thought it was a waste of time. So I went through a period where it was like, oh, no female friends, never do that. And then as I, learned this stuff, then I started having female friends. And the same female friends that I had before that I stopped talking to for a little bit, like, we came back and we kind of had a similar relationship, but I just felt like it was different, Like, I felt like we could date if, I wanted to, but most of the time I didn't because we had a good thing going. Why ruin that, So it was very interesting.
I think one of the big hang-ups in love overall, in a long-term relationship, because comes a point where you realize it's not really about game. That was a cute thing, the idea of game. But as humans, we will be in relationships with ourselves for our entire lives and other people. If we perceive the other person as greater, that's the beginning of the end of attraction.
Yeah.
For me, it's really like an overflow. It's
imbalance.
A plus to be with someone, but I don't depend on someone. Because that would give birth to codependency, to any of the hang-up, any of the stuff that we all try to avoid, we fear, and so on. And the more genuine way would be to be in such a rich relationship with yourself that others become a plus. And I mean, just being here, one thing that I've always, and we're talking about like friend or being nice. So there's like giving a compliment, hoping to get something, but that's not really a genuine compliment or an observation. But around you, I've always said that from 2007, first time you showed up from the UK in Hollywood at the Cine Grill. The moment you present, life becomes richer because you're having a rich experience. And then if you pair two like that, then that's like a volcano, a vortex, right?
Dude, yeah.
But it's true. I mean, it's like So that's the challenge. And for years, there's been so many attempts to define attraction. Attraction is value-based. Attraction is this. I think that's it's a natural thing in nature, like the elements. The greater won't attract. The lesser won't attract the greater. So if I think that I'm lesser than somebody, that's the beginning of the end. And nobody is lesser or greater, but it's like if I'm having a lesser rich time by myself and I hope that somebody's gonna fulfill me, that's the end.
Dude, I agree with you, and I've seen this countless times as well. When somebody says, this is the kind of woman I'm attracted to, that is always the kind of woman they struggle with the most. The minute, and it doesn't matter what they are. Like, I'll see a guy who's like a good-looking dude, and he goes, I can't get blondes. And then there's another guy that's like, I can't get brunettes. And there's another guy that's like, I can't get people in my town. I can get them in any other town, I can't get them in my town. Whatever you tell me you want is the thing you probably can't get.
Yeah.
Because you've instantly shifted the value. You're like, I want that. What are you saying? You're saying, that has value and I want it. What are you saying? It has value. Therefore, I have less value because I believe I need that in order to complete my value, right?
Very subtle linguistic shifts
Right.
right there.
It's and mental, right? You think about it. Whereas, like, for me, I don't think I want a specific type of person or a specific type of thing. I enjoy spending time with women. The end. Having sex, making out, all these things are super fun, but it is a side effect to spending time with women. I always say, like, the average guy has sex for 15 minutes. That's it. Like, and for me, it's like 2.5 minutes if we go twice. And so, you know, I've got to occupy 23 hours and 57.5 minutes of the day. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I actually enjoy spending time with women, so that when I do only perform for 2.5 minutes, like, you know, they don't get too upset about it. And you're going to spend more time interacting with them than you are having sex with them. When the only thing in your head is, can I have sex with her? Can I make out with her? Can I do this? You're guaranteed to fail. Because the woman's thinking, after you've disappointed me for 15 minutes, what else am I going to get out of this, right? Like, yeah, and any guy that's like, no, I'm the best she's ever had in sex. No, that's just what she tells you. She just wants you to feel better because she enjoys the other stuff with you, right? So as a guy, your job is really stop putting a woman on a pedestal. Stop saying, this is who I want. Stop going after anything specific and just really enjoy time with women. And the amount of guys I meet that struggle with women who say, well, I don't like hanging out with them. I'm like, and that's the problem.
Yep.
That right there.
I also notice a lot of the guys that I help initially, they're beautiful beings. They're usually brilliant in other fields, but they're not very good company. You know, I do those boot camps. We walk around, and there's no women around. And it's just like, I know nothing about you. You're not really good. So become good company. And become good company to yourself. Because ultimately, understand me well. I'm a family person. I'm inclined towards family. I love company. I love being social. The truth here, as much as I so deeply love my girlfriend and so on, the highest enjoyment is when I'm by myself. I've never met someone that didn't slow me down in one way or another. I mean, right? And that's not, that could be taken the wrong way, but that is because then if I'm with you because I want to be with you. Yeah. I'm not with you because I need to be with you. I'm not with you because I fear not being with you. So that's big right there, you know, and you're the embodiment of that richness. Like, I arrive here and everything, it's just like, wow, you're a builder. This is amazing.
I love that.
I'm excited. I mean, I agree with you. You know, like, for me, like, the important factor is with people have choices, but they choose to be with their partner, basically, right? Not because they have to, because like, oh, we have kids together, I have to stay together, or like, oh, because of the finance or some other stuff, or because like no one will want me. Like, that's staying out of scarcity, right? It will only amplify problems, basically, you know? So you gotta make sure you so giving and so open and so accepting of people, right? They just want to be with you. They can choose not to be.
Yeah, I think you guys both nailed it, like, on the head. And I think when it comes to attraction, what you said about company is so true. Being around somebody takes energy. And I don't mean it drains you. I mean, being entertaining, being someone fun to talk to takes mental energy. Yeah. And the amount of times I meet guys, like dating students, who are like, well, I don't want to do it. I don't like doing that. I'm like, you think I do? Like, you really think I like doing this? Like, given a choice between hanging out with my kids at home and playing a video game or hanging out with you in a bar, listening to you complain, like, given a choice, which of these two things? And then he's like, well, you know, but you're getting paid to do that. I was like, everyone can get paid to do a job that they don't love. This is taking mental energy. And once upon a time when this wasn't my job and I had to go out to a bar to try and meet people, it's not like I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I can't wait to drain my energy. It's not like I was like, I wouldn't rather be sitting at home playing video games, because I would have. I'd have loved to have just sit indoors and played video games. But the person I would have been if I just sat indoors and played video games is not the same as the person that I became by forcing myself to go out and have interactions with new people and being good company. When I go to a bar, it's not like I can meet a woman and be like, hey, I need you to be good company because I even bothered to show up today, right? Like, I can't do that. I've got to be not just good company, the best company there. The nightclub we used to go to had a capacity of 2,000 people. Well, we know that there was like 1,200 women because they had a strong ratio of guys to girls. That means there's 800 men. So I had to be better company than 799 men, or at least better than 750 of them if I wanted to get into that like top 10%. Yeah. And I was like, given a choice between hanging out with me or hanging out with 750 other men in the room, most women would have chosen me. And it's because I brought an air of effort and fun that nobody else did. And I'm going to blow you guys away. My favorite line to bring people like back to mine was, what are you doing tomorrow lunchtime? And a woman would be like, I don't know, like, you know, getting lunch. I'm like, when was the last time you had a picnic? And they'd be like, what? I was like, when did you last have a picnic? I'm like, what are you on about? I was like a picnic. Like, we'll get a towel, we'll make some sandwiches, I'll have a cucumber sandwich, I'll cut the crust off for you. Like, I believe in that. You know, and she's like, are you really, like, we're in a nightclub, like the #1 nightclub in London. Like, fucking Pharrell is over there. You're inviting me for cucumber sandwiches and a picnic? I was like, I'm English. This is what we do. And the woman would be like, well, it's been a long time. And I was like, okay, don't think I'm weird, but do you want to have a picnic with me tomorrow? And this woman was like, yeah, fine, I'll have a picnic with you tomorrow. And I'm like, great. But then you're going to hang out the whole night because you got a plan. You're going to have a picnic tomorrow. We spent the whole night together.
Future projection.
That's another opportunity, not just future projection, but also to trigger investment from women, right? To continue contribute with ideas and recipes and times, right? Because we're just like me and some staff members talking about as well too, basically, right? Guys tend to not. We talk about it a lot in our attraction, basically, right? Attraction is investment from both parties, basically. You love what you put effort and time to, and a lot of guys just would put effort and be like, well, she didn't like me. And I'm like, well, yeah, because she didn't ask me to do all of these things for her. You know what I mean? Like, give her opportunity to contribute, like at least mentally or with efforts on your investment too. So it's a great opportunity to do that as well.
Thanks, yeah, and it was killer. And then I would follow it up with, towards the end of the night, I'm like, do you want to get breakfast tomorrow? And she's like, aren't we doing a picnic? I'm like, yeah, but we could do breakfast too. I know this really cool breakfast spot. And I would sell them on the breakfast spot. And she'd be like, all right, that sounds great. I was like, cool, so we're doing breakfast and lunch tomorrow. And she goes, yeah. And I was like, do you have a ride home? And she'd be like, no, I was just going to get a cab. And I'm like, well, do you want to just crash at mine, seeing as how we're having breakfast anyway? And she'd be like, sure, why not? I'm like,
not having sex.
Well, I would say...
I'm a virgin. So, right? The newborn, but I'm a virgin.
It's funny, I would literally say it. I'd be like, look, I've got a really nice bed, but I'm not going to presume we're going to sleep in the same bed. I'll sleep on the sofa. And so we'd go home, and I would make a point of going into the bedroom and setting her up, and then I would grab a pillow, and I'd start walking towards the door, and I'd put the pillow on the sofa. And she'd be like, do you not have a blanket? I was like, I only have one blanket.
I'd imagine it's like our toddler, how he does it, like...
Yep, that's exactly it. Like, with my one pillow, she goes, you're going to sleep on the sofa with a pillow. I was like, yeah, I don't mind. Like, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. She goes, well, now I feel uncomfortable kicking you out your own bed. I was like, you didn't kick me out. I volunteered. I don't mind. This is just, I'm telling you, the breakfast is worth it. And she goes, don't be stupid. Sleep in the same bed. I'm like, okay, but, and then, like you, I'd be like, but don't touch me. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, no funny business. I was like, I don't sleep with women on the first night. That would be weird, especially as we haven't had breakfast yet. I don't want to do that. I was like, my rule is simple. We both have to keep one foot on the floor at all times. I was like, so place your foot on the floor. And I'd make her put her foot on the floor. And she goes, this is really uncomfortable. I was like, yeah, but it's the only way we can't have sex. I'm going to do the same. She goes, there are other ways not to have sex. I was like, well, none that I feel comfortable trusting you with. Miss, I can't keep my foot on the floor, right? And then she's like, oh my God, you are being ridiculous. She goes, why don't we just have sex? All right, fine, let's do that then.
If you insist.
If only because you want to. But that's the stuff. Like, but I was the most interesting guy she met that night because I was the only one that invited her on a picnic.
Yeah, I mean that's unusual.
Something to do, leading somewhere.
Yeah, that's like a beautiful dancing.
Yeah.
It's like a dance. It's not like no one wants to ever hook up, but it's gotta be entertaining.
I would always ask a woman, like, when did you know we're gonna have sex? And they would always say, when we were naked in bed and I took off my panties. They never knew until that point, like, ever. And I know there are guys out there like, that's not true. Like, every woman's told me when she first met me. Like, good for you, dude. Then you're that good-looking, awesome guy that women just decide for you. But you know what? I had to learn game.
Well, women say that, though. Women say that. Oh, I knew within the first, millisecond of meeting him.
Yeah,
they always say that.
They do, but what I'm saying is they don't say that to me. And this is how I know I have to have game. I've never had a woman be like,
I don't believe it when they say it.
Yeah, I don't. No,
I personally don't.
Yeah, I sit down. For me, it's a career. 18 years of teaching dating. I have always asked everyone, when did you know? They said the same thing. When we were in bed and I took off my panties. Yeah, and I've done it with every single woman. So I know the point.
Big survey ongoing.
Yeah, it's over 1,000 people at this point. Like, and I'm gonna, I'll keep doing it because I want to know when they know, and it's always the same. And it's a reminder to me that I have to use game. I have to still make sure that I'm full consent, doing it slowly, making it fun, making them enjoy it, and that's the key.
Yeah.
We are getting close to the end. We've got like 7 minutes left, give or take. But I want to do a quick fire round.
Okay.
And I think Eve. Do we have questions?
Someone asked, what is speed seduction? And like, how do you guys?
Okay, I love that question. So we're going to ask it because I kind of want Eve, Lloyd, me. I want us to ask some questions to Vince to get his answers to some basic dating questions.
Okay.
So we'll start with the audience one.
I'm game. I think I can sustain 7 more minutes of my daily bladder training, but beyond that, I will have to rush to the back to use the bathroom. The saddest thing that could ever happen. You're in a nightclub, you walking out with her, and you gotta use the bathroom. So just like SEALs will train themselves in a variety of ways, for decades I have trained my bladder to endure, but this is the threshold. So couple questions. If I appear to be slightly distracted, we'll know what the cause of that is.
Vince naturally spits out speed seduction NLP. For anyone everyone that missed it, he spoke about the desire to go to the restroom, and he says, imagine this, you're in a nightclub. If you listen back, and he'll say that. This is so natural to Vince. So key component, what is speed seduction, Vince?
Well, I have nothing to do with it. I got to go fast, but I was at a Tony Robbins event where I was a crew member and I received a leadership award from Tony Robbins for my participation. Only challenge in that organization is that I was constantly seen with different women, and some guy came to me and said, what are you doing? Are you doing speed wah wah wah? And I said, speed what? And it turned out that they gave me a business card. I called the person. They found me a little annoying because I was running patterns on them on the phone. And then I brought them a girl as an offering. And then after that, the element of speed seduction, you got to do what works. And I think it's a matter of being a good strategist, understanding beyond just like the old story, like, oh, if you leave a garden unattended, it's going to be a mess.
Yep.
So it's a form of gardening. Do I do some elements of hypnotic seduction? Absolutely, because it would be an offense to whatever person I'm with if I withheld with my communication. I'm not going to crawl on the floor because I know how to walk.
Speed seduction, in summary, everything he said, the element of NLP and hypnosis applied to seduction.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Eve, your question.
My question, what's the best way to meet high quality woman?
To be a high quality man. Okay. Here's the third transcendence. It came back.
Oh, I'm so glad.
The
I'm
bladder
gonna be
withholding helped. It created a weird effect, like I am on ayahuasca or whatever.
No, it's
you
my
call that
question.
thing.
It helps.
No. Okay, check this out. So I'm going to meet a human, and that human will have pluses and minuses. I will remain a human with pluses and minuses. I can be in the world and do my thing in the world, but I cannot be of the world. And the more I come to peace with that, I will have wonderful I'm a genius. I'm a complete imbecile as well, simultaneously. I'm like the sweetest thing you ever met. I am dangerously deadly. So a woman will be the same thing. And if two get together, they cannot fantasize that the other person will complete them. No one will complete us. They cannot also freak out every time there's a little bit of a difference. I think a great relationship would be some days I really want to be with her, some days I don't want to be with her. But despite of that, I evolve and I use that as fertilizer. That's that. So I would never look at a woman and go, this is a quality woman. I would be a little suspicious. I learned that from women. They're great. Women, you cannot tell them anything. They go, why are you wearing this? What do you do? What do they do? And finally, they make the crucial mistake. You're at the gym on the treadmill, and every time there's two chicks next to each other, sorry for saying chicks, what do they say to each other? Oh, I met this guy, really? And either 99% of the time, she will be, the friend will, oh, really? How is he? I don't know. That's their answer. I don't know. And 1% of the time they go, oh, he's different. He is no different. So quality woman would be a person that applies themselves. I know that I'm meeting a quality person if they're willing to work it, if they're willing to also admit, I'm at fault. That's one of the finest human quality, most rare. Like, I'm at fault. So anyway.
Love that.
Oh, so profound.
Wow, I mean, that's it. When you reach
Must be there.
55, I cannot stay too much longer on this planet because Lord knows what enlightened thing I may utter that may totally revolutionize
I
the
hope
whole
you get
thing.
enlightened.
Oh, yeah.
Lloyd, your question.
What's the best opening line when you're approaching somebody?
I don't believe in lines, but the best thing you could do is be with what's there and not see that as a problem. Okay?
It's a great opening line.
Like, for example, I would talk to you, but I really have to use the bathroom. What do I do? Can you wait here for a second? And if that's the case, the sad thing is that a lot of the things that I naturally uttered, they then became a line, and they lose their potency once they become line. Like when I met my second wife, she was sitting by herself, and there was plenty of space around her. And it just dawned on me, why is this person by herself? And I say, I don't know what you're doing to keep people away. It's not working with me. And then I asked her if I could sit, and I nearly sat on her. And then people wrote it down. The speed seduction students, and they were like, oh, all right, I don't know what you're doing to keep people away, but it's not working on me. And it wasn't working for them.
It was genuine, yeah.
Genuine. I mean, I've done all sorts of, I've even started going like, sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, I want to talk to you that this is a disaster. We're not going to start over again. And, you don't want to be with people that don't want to be with you. And the best recommendation, especially in this day and age, if a person doesn't just open up to you right away, the test is not, here's my opener, good. How open are they? And if they don't right away open, I just let them be. Let them be. Anyone that does less than, oh, wow, I love your hair. Where are you from? If it's less than that, I will just go, anyway, you have a good night. Okay? Choice. Cock power. Oh, I ruined it all. That was so brilliant. That's my Tourette. Right? We were talking about Tourette before. I have Tourette. Or I can be influenced. Oh, no.
I have a Tourette.
Oh, wow.
Guys.
Well, getting enlightened.
Listen,
More.
I
No,
hope.
I want to grow up and be like you guys. I really admire what you got going on. Really, it's beautiful.
Thanks.
Beautiful. And what an entrepreneur, like you just like, that's most of the guys that I coach, they go like, oh, and what about, a business? I want to be more, they want to be like you. I really admire what you build in a very, very genuine way. So for me, I was a little bit like the crazy cousin that visits once in a while that had some good thing, but props to you. So
Thank you, Vince. I appreciate it. For everybody at home, I 100% recommend you go and check out Vince Kelvin. Just a phenomenal character, a very old friend and a good friend of mine. Vince, it's such a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
You should also go and check out The Single Guy. What are we talking about today, Lloyd, for you, if they want to go and find out about you?
Yeah, just a.single.guy. You can search my Instagram. check out any of the videos or my YouTube, The Single Guy.
Eve?
Works.
Cool. I am the Eve Lyons on Instagram.
Perfect. And I am at the Adam Lyons. If you want my personal profile, go check it out. If not, you can always follow us on Instagram at Ask the Dating Coach Live. Thank you ever so much for tuning in and watching this. Vince Kelvin, as always, a pleasure. We'll see you next time on Ask the Dating Coach.